She wants to give it away, so we made it bigger.
You should be selling that. That is beautiful.
You like well, we make things and we give it away.
Okay, why don't you pick this up?
I made this one.
Can we pick this up so show the folks at home can see this beautiful work that this lady has done?
Yes.
Brent's Delicatessen has been known for decades in the Northridge community as one of the top restaurants in our community. It is also known as the top delicatessen in all of the city of Los Angeles. Let's take a look at Brent's Delicatessen.
Hi there, my name is Ron Peskin, and I welcome you to Brent's Deli. We like to think of it as one of the great neighboring restaurants in this area. I got customers coming here every week for actually almost 40 years. Well, everything's pretty good on the menu, actually, but our sandwiches are fabulous, like the corned beef Reuben, the pastrami, our stuffed cabbage. Our cabbage soup is probably second to none. Our lox is king salmon, wild king salmon. Everything's baked fresh on the premises.
How's the matzo ball soup today? The matzo ball soup is the best in America, as far as I'm concerned. I've been coming here for about 25 years. My son's 23, and I brought him up in this place, almost like I own part of it to run. And my daughter's 10, and I asked her, what do you want on a Friday night for dinner? And she says, go to Brent's and get me matzo ball soup. So it's awesome.
As we continue our tour of Northridge, we're finishing up today at Northridge Fashion Center, an icon in its day when it was built. It's actually one of the first regional shopping centers in America and has been a real centerpiece for the business community in Northridge for a long time. We're here today with Danielle Gordon, who's the Director of Public Affairs here at the center. And tell me a little bit about Northridge Fashion Center as it is today.
I'd be happy to. Obviously, as you can see around you, it's very bustling, wonderfully attended. This is our farmers market event that we have every week during the summer and the spring time frame. So we're just wonderfully happy to be part of the community, and we're just happy to be here.
One of the things I'm very impressed with, certainly, is the number of jobs that are created here at Northridge Fashion Center. A lot of jobs for summer youth, particularly around Christmas time. But how many people work here at the center, and what do you bring in the way of economic value to the community?
Well, I can tell you during the non-holiday season, Northridge Fashion Center employs about 2,000 employees throughout the center. During the holiday, our employment increases about 15% with the additional associates that are employed by the department stores and the other stores within the mall. We are definitely one of the biggest malls in the San Fernando Valley area, and we contribute millions of dollars, per year to the city tax base. So we're happy to do that.
And certainly with 2,000 employees, you contribute a lot to the economic value of the community. Now, we're also here today at a very special event, and we're going to go do a little shopping in a little bit. But the farmers market has become kind of an institution over the last few years here that you run on Wednesdays in the summer. Tell the folks a little bit about what's going on behind us here at the farmers market.
We hold this, as I mentioned before, April through October. Every year, this is our 9th year of doing the farmers market. Hard to believe. And every year it grows and just gets better, and that's because of the wonderful support from the community. Right now, today, we have anywhere from between 60 to 70 vendors. We do a percentage of them need to be organic, so we're focusing on that as well, and we're just really happy to be able to provide them the opportunity, the agricultural-based folks to have a place to come, and everyone loves to purchase those kinds of items as well. So we've got music, we've got things for the kids, slides, petting zoo, pony rides, all kinds of fun things. It's just a great family festival.
Another partner in the business community, Wayne Adelstein, the Executive Director of the North Valley Regional Chamber of Commerce. How are you doing, Wayne?
I'm doing well, thank you. Good to be here.
So tell me a little about the Northridge Regional Chamber. When I was in business here, it was the Northridge Chamber of Commerce, and we were one of the largest, most powerful chambers in probably all Southern California. Then it almost disappeared. Now it's back, it's alive, and it is very vibrant. Tell us about it.
Yeah. Well, the chamber has a long history here in the North Valley. Initially established in 1917, so we're in our 90th year. So we're planning for a 10-year reunion down the road. As a former business person here in the community, hopefully you'll attend our festivities.
But I wasn't here when it started. No, just make that very clear.
Sure, but you can be on our planning committee if you'd like, okay? The chamber, as I said, has been really long involved in the community. It's had its up and down like a lot of chambers, especially in '94 when we had the earthquake. It was very difficult on the business community. We've come back. Today we are the largest chamber of commerce here in the San Fernando Valley. We've had several names over the years. Not only do our communities change their names, but so do organizations. We've been the Zelza Chamber, the Northridge Chamber, the Northridge Porter Ranch Chamber, the North LA County Chamber, now the North Valley Regional Chamber of Commerce. So we have our a potpourri of names that we have used, and who knows about the future. But we're very excited about the role we play in the community. We're very involved in our community nonprofits. We encourage our members to participate, and they do very generously. We're very involved with PALS and trying to develop the new community center, as you well know, and have always taken a strong interest in partnering with the community and representing not just the business, but the community as a whole.
Great job, and I really appreciate, Wayne, you being here today with us.
My pleasure.
And Danielle, of course, always good to see you again and be here at Northridge Fashion Center. We're going to go do a little shopping, so why don't you follow along with us? Outstanding. Thank you. Now this is okay. That's so good. Come try it. You gonna get the horn? Very good.
This was Citrus Sunday, a day when people opened their yards to volunteers who picked thousands of pounds of fresh citrus fruit to give to local food banks in the San Fernando Valley. Citrus Sunday is a partnership between the office of 12th District Council Member Greg Smith and the Valley Interfaith Council.
Every day in the San Fernando Valley, there's 130,000 people who have to make a tough choice whether they eat a full meal or they pay the rent or they pay for their water and power bills. And so what they normally do is they'll eat a peanut butter sandwich or something like that and give up fruit and things that really are important to a good balanced meal.
These volunteers are helping to make sure people don't have to make that choice between eating fresh fruit and paying the bills.
It's great that that so many people come out for the community to help support the councilman's office in such a great cause, to help the homeless and feed the needy.
We have an ongoing collaborative with our neighborhood councils and community service groups to just go out and try and deal with quality of life issues in our community. We've been doing a number of projects. We've done a graffiti cleanout project recently. We've had 3 or 4 tree planting programs in the community. We do regular community cleanups, which we've done throughout the year. Every few months we do a community cleanup project.
I think it's a great project. We've got all this fruit and it should be used.
So we'll fill this one up a couple times today. Taking over, we're going to probably fill this up here and take it over to the food bank and come back and take another load or two.
Councilmember Smith is proud of Citrus Sunday and what it says about the volunteer spirit of the communities of Canoga Park, Chatsworth, Northridge, Granada Hills, and Porter Ranch, which are in his district, as well as the entire San Fernando Valley.
We have groups working today in Studio City, North Hollywood, East Valley, Pacoima area, so it's kind of caught on and spread throughout the valley and getting real big, and it's only our second year. So often it's just a matter of somebody giving time. It's not so much money, it's not so much innovation, that there's a lot of good programs out there, and all it takes sometimes is you give a few hours to help people.
By the end of this Citrus Sunday, volunteers had rounded up many thousands of pounds of fresh fruit for the less fortunate, served by the food banks of the Valley Interfaith Council. If you or your group are interested in volunteering or organizing an event to help improve your community, call Councilmember Smith's office at 818-756-8501 or visit his website at www.cd12.org.
LA City View Channel 35. Your city, your channel.
Good morning, Los Angeles, and welcome to the City Council meeting for Wednesday, September 12th, 2007. We are here in John Ferraro Council Chambers, room 340 of City Hall, where we meet every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m., except for the first Friday of the month, in which we meet down at Van Nuys City Hall in our efforts to bring City Council closer to all Angelinos. I'm Council President Eric Garcetti, joined by my colleagues Richard Alarcon, Jose Huizar, Tom Labange, Jan Perry, Greg Smith, which gives us 6 members. We are awaiting 4 more members to constitute 2/3 of our 15-member body and a quorum to begin business. So let me begin by please asking council members to come. It is now after the hour, and pursuant to council rules, so we need to have Councilmember Cardenas join us, Councilmember Gruhl join us, Councilmember Hahn join us, Councilmember Parks join us, Councilmember Reyes join us, Councilmember Rosendahl join us, Councilmember Weiss join us, and Councilmember Wesson join us. Mr. Zine is excused today on city business, so we are not expecting him, but otherwise we are expecting the other council members. We welcome our viewers on Channel 35, where we are broadcast live through the city's cable system and rebroadcast in the evening. We also are webcast through our city's homepage at lacity.org, where there's a wealth of information about city services and departments and your elected officials. You also can catch our old council meetings through video on demand, a new service at our city's homepage as well. If you click on the video on demand, you can pull down old council meetings and listen to any of the proceedings on issues that are of concern to you as well. Finally, you can listen through our audio service called Council Phone at 213-621-CITY. That's 213-621-CITY. And you can listen through your telephone to not only the full council meetings, but any of our committee meetings. Our agendas are available online 72 hours in advance at lacity.org, at our city clerk's office, or here in council chambers. Special agenda items are placed 24 hours in advance. And the agendas are divided into items that have already had a public hearing and those for which a public hearing has not yet been held. If we have not held a public hearing in committee, members of the public are entitled to address the council, and we encourage you to fill out speaker cards in the back and give them to any of the sergeants at arms on either aisle, and we'll make sure that we call on you for those matters. Also, if you have items of a general nature that are under our jurisdiction but not on an item on the agenda, feel free to give us your comments during general public comment, and do the same thing by filling out a speaker card in the back and giving them to one of the sergeants at arms. Our City Hall facilities in Van Nuys are also available for public testimony via video conferencing, so if that's closer to where you live, you can always show up there, and we will make sure to include your public comments on the items of the day as well. So we now have 9 members. Thank you to Council Members Alarcon, Cardenas, Gruhl, Huizar, Labange, Parks, Perry, and Smith. We are waiting one more of the following council members to join us: Councilwoman Hahn, Councilmember Reyes, Councilmember Rosendahl, Councilmember Weiss, or Councilmember Wesson. It is now about 12 minutes after the hour, and pursuant to council rules, again, council members should be here in their seats on time. So if we could please have Councilwoman Hahn join us, Councilmember Reyes join us, Councilmember Rosendahl join us, Councilmember Weiss join us, and Councilmember Wesson join us. As soon as we have one more member, we will begin our meeting, and we have it with Mr. Reyes. So with that, Madam Clerk, if you'll please call the roll.
Alarcon, Cardenas, Gruhl, Hahn, Huizar, Labange, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Rosendahl, Smith, Weiss, Wesson, Zine, Garcetti. 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. First order of business, please.
Approval of the minutes.
Mr. Reyes moves and Mr. Parks seconds. Without objection, those minutes will be approved. Next order of business.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Mr. Huizar moves and Mr. Alarcon seconds. Without objection, those two will be approved. You can run through the agenda before public comment, please.
Yes.
First items.
First, there is a request to continue item number 17 to October 26th.
Okay. Is there any objection, colleagues, to continuing item number 17 till the 26th of October? Seeing none, we will continue that without objection. Next items.
Next, items number 1 through 17, with the exception of 17, are items noticed for public hearings. Items number 1 through 12 are street lighting hearings. Recommended council action is to close the hearing and present the ordinances on September 26th.
Okay. If there's no objection to that, we will move that. We do not have, I'm sorry, the items noticed for public hearing do not have any cards either, so we'll not call those special. Anybody wishing to call any of those special 1 through 16? And on 16, I believe a motion is required. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, why don't we hold that on the desk till Ms. Hahn is here? And on 1 through 15, when we go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Okay, those actions are taken. Next items, please.
Next are items 18 through 22, and those are items which public hearings have been held. Items number 18 through 20 are confirmations of city officials. Would you like to hold these on the desk?
Yes, please. Let's hold 18 through 20 on the desk for the confirmation hearings. And anybody wishing to call 21 or 22 special? And on 22, are the reports in conflict, or are they?
Yes, they are. You can approve them both.
We can approve them both?
Both reports.
Okay.
Yes.
So we'll go ahead and move them both. Anybody wishing to call 21 or 22 special? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Okay, that is approved. Next items, please.
Next are items 23 through 38, and those are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay. Mr. Smith?
24 for Mr. Rosendahl.
Okay.
And if I could have a forthwith on 22, please.
Okay, without objection, 22 forthwith. And we will open and close the public hearing on 23 through 38. I do not have any public speaker cards here or from Van Nuys. Any specials, colleagues? This is 23 through 38. Any specials? Okay, seeing none, if we can take the balance. Actually, why don't we hold the ordinances, I'm sorry, until we have 12 members. We are expecting 12 members. So that would give us 35 through 38.
Yes, so ordinances would be 24 through 34 are held.
We'll hold those and then take up 35 through 38 on consent. Please open the roll on those 4. And close the roll and tabulate the vote.
Ayes.
Those are approved. Next items, please.
Next are items number 39 through 40, and those are closed session items. Would you like to hold those on the desk?
Yes, let's go ahead and open and close the public hearing on those. I do not have any cards on those either. And let's hold 39 and 40 on the desk for closed session. Next, if we can recess the regular meeting and call the roll for the special meeting.
Alarcon, Cardenas, Gruhl, Hahn, Weezer, Labange, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Rosendahl, Smith, Weiss, Wesson, Zine, Garcetti. 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, and we're joined by Mr. Wesson as well for the roll on that. If we can please take up the first item.
Item number 41 on the special meeting agenda is a closed session item.
Okay, let's go ahead and has that had a public hearing? We'll go ahead and open and close the public hearing on that. I don't have any cards. But we can keep that on the desk, please, as well. We'll take that up in closed session. Next item.
Next would be the continuation item.
Okay, so let's go ahead and continue then 41 back into the regular meeting and take up item 42.
42 on the continuation agenda is a special events.
Okay. Anybody wishing to call? Yep.
Can I continue 42 for 1 week? A and B?
A and B?
42.
Okay.
Continue for 1 week?
Yes.
So that would be continued until September 19th, 42.
Okay. If there's no objection to that, we'll go ahead and continue that 1 week till the 19th. Okay. We just have 11 members, so we're waiting one more member for the ordinances. Is Ms. Hahn's staff here on item 16? If not, we'll go ahead and hold on that one. If we can take up the public comment at this time. And like first to invite forward Brian Joseph to be our first speaker for public comment today. We will have 2 minutes per speaker. Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Brian Joseph. I live in Council District 14, but today I'm here representing a group of community activists from all over the city in every council district. We're called End the War LA. We have a proposed resolution for withdrawing troops from Iraq, and our resolution is about the local impact of the Iraq War on Los Angeles. $10 billion per month is being spent on the war, and $126.5 million of those dollars are coming from Los Angeles. We think that there are better ways to spend that money, If we break that down by council district, that's $8.5 million per month per district, and we think that you could probably find ways of spending $2 million per week in each of your districts. We have a few people who came out here today. We stand up, please, if you came here in support of this. And we just want to introduce it to you guys. And we're really looking forward to having meetings with each of you in the coming weeks to present this to you. California, as you guys probably also know, has the highest number of casualties of any other state. And there are 107, as of July, there are 117 deaths, military deaths in Iraq from the greater Los Angeles area. So the impact locally is more than simply the fiscal impact. It's also people are being killed. We had a couple of speakers who were delayed this morning and couldn't be here. Jane Bright, whose son Evan Ashcraft was killed in Iraq in 2003, was going to be here to speak, and Jabbar Magruder from Iraq Veterans Against the War. And next time we're here, we're sure that they will be here with us. One other thing was yesterday, I'm sure you all watched the hearings when General Petraeus was speaking. And when he was asked by Senator Warner if we're safer now, he replied that he didn't know. We think that Los Angeles is not safer now, and we're missing important services and infrastructure because of the money that's going to the war. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Leonard Potash is our next speaker. And after Leonard will be Stephen Gibson. Good morning, Leonard.
Good morning. My name is Leonard Potash. I'm in the 13th Councilmanic District, and I'm also here to speak in support of End the War LA. I represent Labor Against the War, the Los Angeles chapter of Labor Against the War. I've been a longtime member of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees. Speaking for Labor Against the War, it's our members, many of our members, that are off in Iraq. It's many of our members that are being killed. It's many of our members that are deprived of growing up with their children and being with their families. And we think it's time to put an end to this. What Labor wants is more housing, more education, better jobs. We don't want better health care. We want health care. We don't want the money going down a rat hole where people are getting killed in Iraq. We think that Los Angeles also wants the same thing. Housing, education, health care, good jobs, a vibrant economy. Labor's agenda cannot be accomplished as long as we are in Iraq. Neither can Los Angeles' agenda for a decent life for the people of Los Angeles be accomplished as long as we are in Iraq. We urge you to support and become one of the cities, one of the many cities that is speaking out against the war. End the war now. Bring everybody home. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gibson, just before you speak, come on forward, Mr. Gibson, but I just need to do one bureaucratic thing before. If we can reconsider item number 21, please open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
And if you can combine 21 with 25 through 34, we now have 12 members, so we can take those ordinances on consent. And then we will return to public comment just one more minute. Go ahead, open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Those are approved. Thank you, Mr. Gibson. Please.
Yes, my name is Stephen Gibson. I'm the Los Angeles Director for the American Friends Service Committee, our Los Angeles branch. The American Friends Service Committee is a humanitarian organization, received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1947. We support refugee camps and schools in areas where people have been displaced by war and natural disaster. We run a refugee camp, a school and a refugee camp in the West Bank. We run a school in Pakistan for Afghan refugees. Here in Los Angeles, we're concerned with issues of housing and homelessness, literacy, and food and other essential needs of people. We believe that, and care for veterans who are coming back from the war in Iraq and other military service. We believe that veterans services, for example, are being underfunded here in Los Angeles at the Westwood Federal Building, the Valley Federal Building, Veteran Centers, that they're being underfunded because of the lack of funding for programs here in the LA area. We support this council taking up a resolution against the Iraq War. I really appreciate the city council members who are considering taking this resolution forward, and I hope that the full council will support the resolution against the Iraq War. Thank you very much.
Rosalio Munoz is our next speaker, and after that will be Chuck Tenon.
My name is Rosalio Munoz. I reside in the 1st District. I'm representing Latinos for Peace in support of this resolution. I want to remind you that it's going to take the people of this country to end this war, and their leaders and representatives. It's not a war that it was prefabricated for the people, it was lied for the people. I was involved very deeply in ending another war in the peace movement, the Vietnam War. And I remember how important it was to have a person like Tom Bradley, who stood up to criticize the war. He stood up for civil rights, stood up for many things. When I got out of college, having somebody like that speak out, when we had a mayor that supported the war fully and helped it go on. And I think it's your responsibility, really, to represent the people's desire to bring an end to this war. We can outline the serious problems of racism, of poverty that our city faces. It's very difficult now, if you're African American or Latino, to live in this city. If you're poor, to live in this city. And the war is a very key part of it. But another key thing I'd like you to do, and maybe add to this resolution, take a look at who in Los Angeles is dying in this war. In Latinos for Peace, for the Day of the Dead, and then again for some congressional meetings, we had Latino artists paint pictures of those listed as dying from the city of Los Angeles. There were something like 24 last spring. 17 of them were Latino. 3 were Asian, 3 were African American, 1 was white. Why is that happening here in the city of Los Angeles? In other parts of the country, where it's rural...
I can ask you to conclude, sir. I'm sorry, I have to try to be as fair as possible with 2 minutes per speaker.
Well, I'd like you to look into those statistics about who is dying in this war and who the costs are affecting the most. Take the leadership. It's up to the people to end this war. Join with
Thank you, Mr. Munoz. Appreciate your comments today. Chuck Tenon is our next speaker.
Good morning, council members. Chuck Tenon. Good morning, council member, President Garcetti. I was a renter for 30 years and was displaced, and I was worried about where I was going to live. Now I'm a homeowner thanks to the City of Los Angeles, its agencies, the LA Housing Department, and Herb Wesson's Housing Committee. I don't forget my roots. I'm kind of in the middle, like a bridge. I know what it's like to go through the process to cross the bridge from renter to homeowner. But what we need is to debate in this city. Planning, city council, agencies needed to debate the housing policy, meaning how is this city going to accomplish its goals by 2015 to minimize the housing problems, get people into affordable housing, decrease renters, increase ownership. If we don't, the problem will get worse. We need to analyze and debate what policy to build the bridge between renters and tenants and home ownership, so people can live out their dreams and see others get an opportunity to get people in proper housing in this city. All people that live in this city deserve the opportunity to live the American dream in this city with affordable housing and home ownership or renting. We need a very solid housing program. Last, I'd like to say recently Herb Wesson took 75 kids on an overnight camping and fishing. Wow, what an encouragement. You should have seen the smile on their faces. Those kids are the future of this city, and I encourage other districts to do that, to put these kids on the right track, whether they're deaf, whether they're blind, whether they're gang related, whether they've been abused. It's a great thing. You should have seen the smiles. God bless.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tannen. Adalila Zelada Garcia is our next speaker. Adalila? See her coming forward with one of our youngest public speakers.
Good morning. My name is Adalila Zelada Garcia. I'm speaking on behalf of End the War LA. I'm a mother and an attorney. This is my daughter, Ayana. And I feel that today I'm echoing the sentiments of all the mothers who are here today, who support the resolution before you today. And I'm going to ask them to please stand. For the sake of all our children here and our children around the world, I urge you to pass this resolution to end the war in Iraq. If you want our children to be healthy, prosperous, and contributing members of Los Angeles, we all as parents and as city council members need to model what that means. And that means here today pushing forward this proposal to end the war in Iraq. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we go to our next public speaker, I believe Mr. Alarcon wanted to respond to some of the speakers. Mr. Alarcon.
Well, I want to thank all of you for taking the time to come to City Council and showing us an opportunity to make a statement that is needed to be made. And I'll be happy to introduce that resolution today. And I will ask my colleagues to join with us in that resolution. Thank you.
And Mr. Rosendahl?
Mr. President, we have just passed the resolution around the council. We have 6 of my colleagues, 7 of the colleagues. Ms. Hahn is being the next one to sign it. Mr. Alarcon, the group as a group is behind it. We're submitting the resolution right after I get the 7th signature. I can't go to 8.
Thank you, gentlemen.
It is. Okay.
Our next speaker for general public comment will be Mr. Arnold Sachs.
Question.
Mr. LaBange?
I support this effort, okay, because I think all war is bad. But could I ask the legislative analysts give information to this community organization so in Southern California, the congressional delegation, which is so important, you could be referred to. We could stand with you here in Los Angeles, but also it's the Congress of the United States that makes this decision and has made the decision. But also I want to think of everybody who's out at Sawtelle and everybody who's in Riverside and everybody who's injured by this war. And I don't want to do anything to harm them or their families members, because you asked that we could stand up and make a speech, and I'm doing it, I know maybe in violation of the city attorney, but I want to think of those who volunteered to join the United States Army or other armed forces and in serving. This is a very commending exercise that they do. And I don't want to let them know that we don't love them or want them, okay? I want to make sure we do it right, and it's heard right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next public speaker will be Arnold Sachs, and after that, Donna Pearman.
Thank you. Good morning, council members. Arnold Sachs. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it here yesterday. I was at the County Board of Supervisors meeting, but I did look over the agenda from yesterday's meeting, and I noticed that there were 66 special events on the agenda, 37 of which were held prior to yesterday's meeting. If these events are so special, you need to have them posted before they occur. Take care of your business. I'd also like to point out that this morning at the audits and a government efficiency meeting, housing was brought up, and it was noted that in 2003 there were 21 nonprofits and 5 for-profit organizations involved in receiving housing funding or involved in the housing situation in L.A. And in 2007, it was 21 nonprofits and a 700% increase in the number of for-profit organizations. I'd like to know if there's some kind of study that can be done to find out why there's sudden increase in for-profit organizations in the housing and no increase in the nonprofit organizations. And I'd like to know if it also can be noted how much of the funding that is done for housing is directed to the nonprofits. Additionally, I tried to go to the Trade and Tourism Committee meeting, but it started late, so I had to get down here so I could put my cards in. I'm curious to find out, there was an article in the Daily Breeze on the 23rd regarding LAX, LAWA, putting out $700 million for soundproofing. There was 2 other items in that article stating that $6 million was also to be issued for soundproofing for 450 homes. The problem is that the $700 million, there is no number of homes that is to be soundproofed. Could that number be brought to the public's attention? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sachs. Donna Perriman is our next speaker, live in City Hall. Good to see you in person.
At City Council, I said if the mountain won't go to Muhammad, Muhammad go to the mountain. Of course, I'm not Muhammad, but I came here all the way to the valley to meet Mr. Garcetti, but I came a little late and see Mr. Rosendahl. Anyways, a terrible thing you want to do, doing auctioning off our Van Nuys Library, just when we have an opportunity to bring in the arts, in this case, classical music to our lower and middle class. We need to stop this from happening. Giving up our classical music in a buyer's market. Right now, the person buying is making the money. It's not even a good time. Why can't you sell it to make it for the arts? Only at a cost so we can have free or very low price classical music. You want to have it so only the rich can hear real life classical music. In Europe, it used to be only the very richest can hear good music or have good books. Only the rich can have the right to bear arms. Some people can only hear classical music in this forum, families and children. Classical music is also international. It would be a terrible waste to let this go. You take so much away from the public, and we will succeed in our quest for succession. We will break up the City Council. CD6 doesn't seem to care about saving this landmark. I hope that's not true. Maybe we will vote next time for someone that does care about bringing beauty to Valley and Los Angeles County. You can do it at a fraction of the cost usually spent by councilmen with their special high-density apartment projects. If North Hollywood can bring in modern art, why can't we have classical art, music? You'll remember long after you're out of office with fondness. Don't let this go through. Maybe instead of waiving fees, we can have an event that raises money to bring classical music to Van Nuys and waive those fees. And I heard that you're, Mr. Garcetti, you are from the Valley, and now I think that you would like to bring in classical music, so please look into that and stop that sale. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Mr. Reyes wanted to respond as well to our earlier speakers. My apologies.
Thank you, Council President. First, I want to thank my colleagues for putting together this resolution. Thank you, Councilman Rosendahl. But several points have been made. As the chair of the Economic Development Committee for the National League of Cities, and within the National League of Cities, it's been made very clear that all the cities in this country have lost millions and millions of dollars for housing, for the infrastructure. We don't get to see our own federal dollars coming back to our own communities, yet we're investing billions upon billions on a monthly basis in another part of the world. We have to ask ourselves, what are we doing to our own communities? So thank you for your assertion and your request that this city of Los Angeles, the second largest city in this country, take this position it needs to take. On top of that, you have the whole dynamic of who we recruit to join the armed forces. It is very common to see recruiters coming into the schools. We have 50% dropout rate.
Excuse me, Mr. Reyes, this wasn't on the agenda, and
I know.
it should just be a brief response.
Connected to what is our gesture going to do is to bring to light the fact that we as citizens as a great city, need to take a stand on the inequities and injustices that are occurring in our communities because of lack of opportunities that's stimulated for the lack of investment in our own communities. So there's where I draw the connection. So thank you so much for being here. And perhaps we should have a resolution that talks about the impeachment of this president who has violated many federal laws.
This is not on the agenda.
Thank you. Mr. Michael Hunt is our next speaker, and after that will be Matt Dowd. Mr. Hunt? Michael Hunt? Or Mr. Dowd, would you like to go? We'll hold Mr. Hunt's card. Good morning.
Thank you. Yeah, good morning, City Council, Mr. Garcetti, possible future mayor. Good to see you back after the summer holiday because the current mayor is getting us in a power of strife, being deceptive. Even with his water usage, he stands up and tells everyone to save water, which is an important issue, really. So the mayor, he's on shaky ground. We asked to have an appointment with our big lawsuit, and it's a big one. And he said he had scheduling conflicts. Well, we never gave him our schedule, and we know what his conflict was. It's good to see there's moratoriums being enacted. Jan Perry even, too. I like that, the fast food moratorium. But we need a moratorium on the condo conversions. There's no infrastructure. You worry about the traffic on the west side. Guess what? We're shoveling people in there. So now I've got a minute left. I want to say hello to Channel 35. All the viewers missed us. I was walking along Venice Beach. They were saying they missed us and our insight into city business. I just want to put this to the people. What would it be like if we could shut down Mr. LaBonge for 520 days to not have any comment at all in this chamber? What kind of violation that would be? Because we got African Americans who were shut down. It's over 520 days of a First Amendment violation on Venice Beach. And I've still got LAPD. They're down there in the weekend trying to harass people when everything's in continuance. So it's 500 days. Let's see if Mr. LaBonge can not have any comment for 500 days. And then you'll start to see what kind of violation we're talking about, the extent of time. You know how long I've been coming here? I'm not enjoying it.
Our next speaker will be Michael Hunt. After that is Barbara Peck.
Thank you, guys. I think that my colleague Matt Dowd hit it right on the head. 520 days of discrimination, racial profiling, 24 times being arrested. The war is me. Just like one colleague said, this has to be sickening. All the times that I've been arrested, all the hassle I've been through after telling the city council district, please don't do this, because I personally will take this offensive, and then, you know, I will do the correct paperwork to do what it has to do. But after writing the mayor told me something like this: "Dear Mr. Hunt, my schedule conflicts. We have a scheduling conflict." Well, yeah, if you pluck and tell Munda, you have a schedule conflict. I think that constituents are a lot more than personal business. If he would have told me he was taking care of his family, I would have been a lot more happier. I think it was just yesterday that me, the mayor, and the president of this chamber was walking down, you know, talking about First Amendment rights and civil rights issues. I'm the very person that you see who has been violated 24 times. And we came to the district's office. We got put out. We got humiliated. We have it all on video. We have it all on tape. We have the arrest on tape. We understand what civil rights violations is. I understand what Robert F. Kennedy and John F. Kennedy was talking about. I understand what Dr. King was talking about when he said, "I have a dream." I understand what racial profiling is from the city attorney's office. When you're after one group of people, I understand that. I'm the group of people that he was after. My name is Michael Hunt. Please settle.
Thank you. Barbara Peck is our last speaker for general public comment.
Yes, good morning, everybody. My name is Barbara Peck. I'm with the Benefit Network. We operate out of Venice Beach. I've been a free speech activist on Venice Beach for the past 20 years, and I want to ask the Council, what do you think the First Amendment is worth? Because frankly, what you're doing out there right now is you are polluting and diluting the First Amendment, and you are allowing commercialism to take over, and this is totally unnecessary. I fought this battle not by myself, but I fought this same battle back in the early 90s when we were given permission to be on Venice Beach as a non-profit organization, selling our products which had a public benefit message. And I think that that is an appropriate use of the First Amendment. However, now what you see out there, if you care to go, you'll see a swap meet type of atmosphere which is taking over Venice Boardwalk, and nobody seems to care. So I care, and I hope that you care too. I do have a lawsuit myself against the city with the federal court, and it is for holding a sign, merely holding a sign. I was cited and prosecuted in the Superior Court in 2005. And this is the reason I felt compelled to sue the city for violating my rights. I wasn't trying to sell anything. I was merely trying to express myself according to the First Amendment. So I feel that I would like the City Council to really pause and think carefully about what you're doing, because you're setting a precedent. If you allow commercialism to take over the First Amendment, then forget the First Amendment. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That closes our public comment. Appreciate you all being here today. Madam Clerk, next order of business.
Next order of business is item 16, and that is a finding of public convenience or necessity in Council District 15. The recommended council action is to grant the application, and motion is required.
Ms. Hahn, on item number 16 is, we need a motion.
I just need to move approval of this.
Yes, thank you.
And I guess I had to do that.
You did, and we missed it. Yes, and Mr. Labange seconds that.
Thank you, Mr. Labange.
Madam Clerk, if you would open the roll on this item, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
The convention.
14 ayes.
That item's been approved. Next item?
Convention and Visitor Center for 20 and 21.
Next is item number 18, and that is a commission appointment. That's the appointment of Ms. Margarita Gar to the Board of Information Technology Commissioners.
Thank you very much for being here today. We really appreciate it and your interest. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I look forward to working with the Information Technology Board.
Wonderful. Well, it's an important part of our city, and appreciate your willingness to serve and give us your time. And we'll make this really easy. Madam Clerk, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
14 ayes.
Been approved. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Next item?
Next is item number 19, and that's a commission appointment of Mr. Justin B. Farrar to the Los Angeles Convention and Exhibition Center Authority. And item number 20 is also a commission appointment, and that is of Mr. Tom Cañas to the Los Angeles Convention and Exhibition Center Authority.
Wonderful. Thank you for both being here. I'd like to recognize the chair of the committee, Madam Ms. Hahn.
We had these two fine public servants in our committee just about an hour ago. Mr. Farrar actually is coming back to serve another term. He's already been on this commission under Mayor Hahn, and Tom is starting anew on this commission. So we talked to them about what their visions were and what their sense was, and in committee, and maybe both of them would just like to speak to that briefly in terms of how they see themselves adding to this authority, and briefly, and then I'm happy to say that we had a full committee recommendation for their approval by full City Council. Tom and Justin, you want to?
I look forward to serving. I have not served before on this commission, but I definitely look forward to being a part of city government with all the new development going on around the convention center. I think this is a very exciting and dynamic time for the city as we move forward to continue being the world-class city that we actually are.
I agree as well. I served before, and it's really an exciting time now to serve on the convention center. I think it's going to be a lot of exciting things happening for the city of Los Angeles.
Thank you. And with that, I move that we approve both of these appointees by the mayor and wish them well, and know that we're your partner as we move forward creating a dynamic, not only downtown Los Angeles, but an area that we hope tourism will be attracted, which will benefit the entire city. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hahn. Thank you for your willingness to serve. And so that with that, I ask Madam Clerk if you could open the roll on these appointments, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
14 ayes.
Those, you both have been approved. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Next item.
Next is item number 24, and that was called special for Councilmember Rosendahl.
Yes, Mr. Rosendahl? Mr. Rosendahl, okay. We will hold that on the desk for a moment. The next item?
The next items are closed session items.
Thank you. I think they've indicated before we go into closed session that they are fine with item number 24 moving forward. Madam Clerk, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
14 ayes.
That item's been approved. Next item.
Next are closed session items. But would you like to go through the excuses, council excuses?
We will do that briefly, and then just let everyone know we will be going to an executive session momentarily. Madam Clerk.
Council excuses are Councilmember Hahn requests to be excused on October 12th and 16th for city business. This meets city policy.
Thank you. That will be approved.
Councilmember Perry requests to be excused on September 28th for city business. This requires a motion.
Yes, Mr. Smith moves, Mr. Reyes seconds.
Councilmember Reyes requests to be excused on September 28th to leave at 11 a.m. for city business. A motion is required.
Ms. Hahn moves, Mr. Cardenas seconds.
Councilmember Smith requests to be excused on October 12th for city business. This meets city policy.
Yes, Mr. Labange moves, Mr. Cardenas seconds.
Councilmember Wesson requests to be excused on September 21st for city business. A motion is required.
Yes, Mr. Smith moves, Mr. Rosendahl seconds.
Councilmember Weiss requests to be excused on October 2nd for personal business. This meets city policy.
Yes, Ms. Hahn moves, Mr. Alarcon seconds.
Councilmember Garcetti requests to be excused on October 17th to leave at 11 a.m., on October 30th to leave at 12 noon, on November 2nd to leave at 11:30 a.m., and on November 7th and 9th for city business. This meets city policy.
Those will all be approved.
And finally, Councilmember Garcetti requests to be excused on September 21st to leave at 12:30 for city business. A motion is required.
Mr. Parks moves, Mr. Smith seconds.
And that only leaves the closed session items.
Thank you. We will be going into closed session. If we could ask our officers to clear the room. We are back in open session, colleagues. Open session. Madam Clerk, any remainder of items? Report out on the closed session, Mr. City Attorney.
I just have to make a...
Okay. First item out of closed session.
First item is item number 40, and that is the case of Sylvia Villarreal versus City of Los Angeles. For that, let's see, 40. Oh, for that, the proposed settlement is $2,050,000.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
Next item.
And for the record, in closed session, the vote on that item was 13-0 with council members Weiss and Zine absent.
Thank you. Next item.
Next is item number 41, and that is the case of Tenny Pierce versus City of Los Angeles, and that item is continued until Tuesday, September 19th, 2007.
Thank you. Next item.
Final item is item number 39, and that is the case of Gavin versus City of Los Angeles, and action was taken in closed session for that one.
Thank you. No report or vote needed.
And that clears the desk. Oh, wait, we have motions for referral and posting.
Those will be posted and referred.
And that clears the desk.
Thank you. Do we have announcements today, colleagues? Announcements. We have adjourning motions. We have adjourning motions. If we could ask everyone to please rise. We could ask everyone to please rise. Thank you. Mr. LaBonge.
Members, I wanted to ask we adjourn in memory of David Garcia, the veteran television newscaster who did such a wonderful job for many years on Channel 4 KNBC as well as KTTV. He recently was posted in the desert. You all know him as Earthman, and he did a wonderful job and connected people to many different subjects. He is survived by his wife, Susie, and we ask we adjourn in memory of David Garcia. Ask all members to join with me in that. And also, Mitchell Gregory Togneri, 16 years old, and just earlier this year was diagnosed with cancer. He had a brave fight. He was a student at Sherman Oaks Notre Dame High School, a wonderful young man who had great promise, loved technology. His parents, Jamie and Gregory, and his sister Lorraine, are his survivors. I ask we adjourn in memory of Mitchell Gregory Togneri, 16 years old, a victim of cancer.
Thank you. Ms. Hahn.
In memory of Van Hicks, Jr., who just passed away on September 7th at the age of 60. Van was born in Texas and served in the Navy during Vietnam, where he earned his Bronze Star. He later owned and operated Vanco Heavy Lift, which is still family-owned and operated in Wilmington. Van really was just one of those great business good corporate neighbors, always gave back to the Wilmington Chamber of Commerce, was always giving back to the communities of Wilmington and San Pedro. I don't think there was ever anything that he was asked to do that he did not agree to do. He helped with the Christmas parades in San Pedro and Wilmington. He contributed at Banning High School, the Warner Grand Theater, Shakespeare by the Sea. He always came through when any of these groups lacked any money. He contributed to San Pedro Hospital, Fort MacArthur Military Museum, and he was a very big supporter of LAPD. He's survived by his wife of 17 years, Maddie, who actually is a friend of mine, but also worked for me at one time in my San Pedro district office. He's survived by his sons, Van III and Corey, and his daughters, Rebecca and Tiffany, as well as 3 sisters, 1 brother, 3 grandchildren. His services will be tomorrow at McNerney's Mortuary Chapel at noon. We will really miss Van.
Thank you, Ms. Hahn. Mr. Parks.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to ask that we adjourn in memory of Margaret Dillard, passed away on August the 18th. She was born in St. Louis. moved to Los Angeles in 1956, attended Dorsey High School and East LA Junior College. She, in 1968, married Cecil Dillard, who's now a retired LAPD detective. She worked for a number of years with Aerojet General Industries and later retired from the Miller Brewing Company after 26 years. She was involved in a number of youth activities. The one that she was most proud of is that she and her husband hosted several high school foreign exchange students over the years. In 2000, they moved to Arizona, where she continued her social activities. She's survived by her husband Cecil Dillard and her 2 children and a host of other relatives.
Thank you, Mr. Parks. Seeing no other adjourning motions, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.